Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and welcome back to the Christmas-themed Megaman X commentary. Why only really call it Christmas? Mainly because of the time period, really. But in any case, though, I make a big mistake here. Again, because I wanted to differentiate this playthrough more than most from a lot of other Mega Man X runs that usually tend to go in weakness order, you know, starting from Chill Penguin through to, you know, whatever else, really. Yeah, I made the big mistake in trying to go after, well, a Maverick that I thought would be interesting to take on for some of the secrets that its stage holds, but instead I made a very costly error that turned Armadillo, you know, the little creature you see right on the left over there, as my nemesis. Mainly because, again, if you're not taking on Armadillo in weakness order, well, you've just made the fight a fuckload harder for you. Especially at this point in the game where Mega Man X is relatively weak without, you know, sub-tanks or, you know, heart capsules there to increase his health. Which I suppose, as I bring it up right now, might as well bring it up, yeah, in terms of what Mega Man X also has to play with. Again, in a similar vein to classic Mega Man with, you know, E-tanks or whatever, you do have sub-tanks that pretty much store up energy, you can restore your health in a pinch, and, yeah. So, yeah, heart capsules to increase your health, boosts, you know, sort of keep you in the fight. All pretty good stuff, and, by the way, if you're looking for a place to grind for, you know, health or weapon energy, as indicated by the, gold and blue capsules, yeah, this is very much the place to do it, as well as a little exploit with, you see this, you know, this classic Mega Man-looking enemy bat right up there. Yeah, keep on attacking this bat, and, it drops an extra life. Something that I believe is only really exclusive to the SNES and Legacy Collection ports, because, I believe they actually took it out when they released, like a Mega Man X Collection for the PlayStation. I guess to also technically keep it up to date with, you know, Mega Man X4, 5, and 6, which were also released on the PS1, but that's neither here nor there in this case. In any case, yeah, that bat enemy is specifically coded to always give you, lives, so, yeah, have at it, man, and take out that enemy for some sweet, juicy, delicious, you know, extra lifey goodness. Of which you can only really store, like, 9 extra lives in this game, because, it was just kind of the standard of the time, really. I mean, again, it could be worse. It could be, I suppose, like some games like the NES Terminator game where you only get, like, a bizarre 6 lives for whatever reason. But yeah, part of the reason why you want to collect the Fire Wave, and I could have easily gotten the, one of the sub-tanks here, but I completely forgot where it was at time of when I was playing through the game, but, yeah, basically what you need to do, again, I could technically go back even now and technically get it, but, yeah, wait for this thing to be destroyed, go back and you'll have a sub-tank waiting for you. Or alternatively, you pretty much hang back using Mega Man's ability to, you know, grip onto the walls, and then pretty much chase down that little fire tank with a Fire Wave and destroy it that way. Which is what you're going to be seeing a little bit later on in the level, particularly as it's utilized to get one of the heart tanks that you can't technically access without it. So yeah, all's good in the hood in terms of, well, what you plan to do. It just depends on how much you really know the stage and how much you're willing to explore, that you're gonna get the most bang for your buck. But I mean, even if you decide to not really go out of your way, I mean, you will be less pimped out for the adventure, but by that same token, though, you can very much play Mega Man X's, you know, your basic run, jump, and shoot sort of gameplay experience, and you won't really be penalized for it. I mean, again, you do still have, you know, weapons that you have to collect as a mandatory part of the game, but yeah, I mean, even if you're not going through in weakness order, the game is about as difficult or as easy as you want to make it for yourself, depending on whether or not you want to take advantage of the tools that the game gives you, which, again, has always been a strength of the Mega Man series, and part of the reason why I can see why the series has gone on for so many years as it has, with infinity bajillion +1 games. It's just a matter of the fact that some tend to be a little bit more sameier and shittier than others. And, you know, no more guilty of that is the classic and X series, which, yeah, there is actually a certain trick with this little segment right here, but we'll be getting that a little bit later, but it all comes in regards to, well, if you make it up to the ledge, right here, and, yeah, collecting that capsule. There should be something here, but there is not. Oh, shucky darns, I guess we'll never know what is truly up there, until later. And now you witness the fall of Solidus-Skully. Unless he ever decides to play Mega Man X3 for the channel, in which case, oh no, it's gonna be suckage all around. Now, Armadillo, you know, fitting with his name if you know how to read, has armor on him. Again, it isn't technically impossible to beat him with a Buster only run, but as you're seeing right here, yeah, he can actually absorb your charge shots if he blocks your attacks, and pretty much deflect them right back at you, so, yeah. again, if you're thinking about cheesing him with busted charge shots, you really need to sort of pick your opportunities for when he unfurls out of well, rolling ball mode, because otherwise, well, he's pretty much gonna eat you alive and still have room for your pussy. And, yeah, I mean, if you have Armored Armadillo's weakness, which is actually the weakness we're gonna be getting from the Maverick that we should be playing through in order to get, but, yeah, needless to say, give him a bit of a shock and Armored Armadillo will fold like a house of cards, but as for anything else, so, yeah, now we witness the fall of Solidus-Skully. Again, I did give it the good old college try, but, that waster was just not meant to be. But yeah, anyway, as I get my ass kicked by Armored Armadillo, guess I might as well talk about something. Particularly in terms of, what exactly makes people go Maverick to begin with, and, yeah, you might be noticing that little, skull symbol, you know, as the boss's health icon. Again, whether intentional or not, later games would eventually utilize, you know, the Sigma logo, you know, as in the actual Greek letter for Sigma, which was there to indicate that the virus was Sigma's doing, but yeah, for the first Mega Man X game, it's technically a skull. A similar boss icon used with the likes of Dr. Wily, so, yeah. I mean, it's somewhat a spoiler and a bit of a clue that I don't really confirm until Mega Man X4, which is really the only story-relevant thing that game really has to offer. And, yeah, kind of gives you an implication as to where exactly this whole Maverick virus got its start to begin with. And in turn, also, the course of robot evolution that will, you know, yeah, you start seeing, you know, more towards the likes of the Zero series and, well, I mean, X7 and X8 kind of delve into this, but, you know, too little too late by that stage. But yeah, either way though, again, I did come close admittedly to, you know, defeating Armored Armadillo, which is why I was a wee bit pissed that I couldn't actually, you know, get it done. Because, I mean, even when you do get him locked into that pattern of, you know, his attacks right there, I could have done it, but I failed. And now Mega Man X will putrefy and turn into a Reaver bot within the hour. But yeah, all that aside, I mean, it's pretty much there to imply with a skull symbol that Dr. Wily was responsible for the outbreak, but how exactly could this be? Well, that does tie into a bit of the origins of Zero, but yeah, neither here nor there in this case. Unless, of course, you played the fan game Mega Man Unlimited, which does actually have a really cool core forward in that aspect, but yeah, whatever. In any case, though, this is the stage that I should have taken after defeating Chill Penguin, Spark Mandrill. And, again, before your dirty mind starts, you know, wandering to deranged places, no, Mandrill isn't meant to be a whole case of Spark Penis! But instead, a Mandrill is actually meant to be a monkey. So, yeah, electric monkey. Monkey, monkey. I'm sure Peter Gabriel will be pleased that we shock the monkey. But yeah, I mean, Spark Mandrill stage is, It's not terrible, but I mean, it does also sort of play around with the whole electricity gimmicks. Again, I mean, I'm trying to remember what Maverick you have to defeat. I think it might be if you beat Storm Eagle and then go to Spark Mandrill stage. You'll eventually cut through the power lines and, you know, eventually you won't have any of those little electric orbs, you know, giving you the business, but, yeah, neither here nor there in this case. But yeah, as in keeping, you also have these little power fluctuations, and, yeah, if you beat Spark Mandrill and come back to the stage, this entire area will be in pitch darkness, so yeah, watch your back. But yeah, a little bit annoying when you're trying to platform, particularly over these precarious bottomless pits, is that you have these, like, little light fuckers, you know, giving you the business, which can be a bit, stressful if you're a bit bottomless pit phobic, but, you know, if you catch yourself on, you know, the edge of the pits, you should be okay, but, yeah, Aqueous, really. Now, I'm trying to wonder, actually, it is entirely... Actually, no, I stay my tongue. Yeah, this has also made me wonder whether or not I should have gone for Storm Eagle next, actually, because, well, again, not only would you have not had to deal with, like, any of those electrical pylon shite, but, yeah, this little mechanoloid's weakness is actually a Storm Tornado, so, yeah, that's the weakness, that's pretty much the weakness you get from Storm Eagle, so, yeah, I mean, it's not impossible to take out with, you know, your X-Buster or whatever, but it's just, I've got a few wee bit of annoying attacks, like, you know, the plasmatic guns that it pretty much uses to encapsulate you, so... it can be a bit annoying, but it's more of a time waster more than anything else. I mean, again, it wouldn't be the only Mega Man game to do that, especially in the SNES era, where you had all sorts of, you know, things from, like, Bit and Byte to fucking, I don't know, wireframe crap and, oh look, wireframe sword at 3D! Marvel at the CX4 chip of the Super Nintendo. And never again. But yeah, I mean, again, Spark Mandrill stage isn't the most exciting thing in the world, but, you know, could be worse. Although, really, I mean, in terms of all the basic Maverick stages, yeah, I guess you could call them that. I mean, in terms of all the basic stages in the game, I have a hard time really picking out one that I really dislike, but, yeah. I mean, I guess if I could just say the one that's probably the most dulled out of the bunch, Spark Mandrill stage would really take the cake. But all that aside, though, I mean, again, like in classic Mega Man tradition, a lot of the enemies that are really just sort of there to pip you, really. I mean, you can take them out easily, but likewise, they can also do, like, a lot of nat damage against you that just sort of there to... Well, it's really more there to annoy you than anything else, which, again, for those who kind of want to keep their health in tip-top shape, can be a boon or a curse, retrospectively. And, yeah, it is actually entirely possible if you manipulate your, again, as you saw right there, if you manipulate your little dash jump, that you can only get by getting the, you know, the dash ability from Chill Penguin stage, so, yeah, if you position yourself correctly, come on, I can get there. I believe. Jump into my arms and I'll fly there with you by manipulating the game's physics. Don't make a liar out of me. Yes, Mega Man X, infinite potential. Potentially realized. Potentially. Yeah, but yeah, like, I mean, putting that aside, there is actually an alternate means of getting that if you're not skilled enough with your jumps, but that's utilizing a certain weapon that, well, we'll be getting a little bit later, but in the meantime, though, shooting through walls. It is a gift known only to Mega Man X, who doesn't talk back. Or at least on the... Actually, you know what? No, I tell a lie. He technically does have a voice line in this game by, Megumi Ogata. But, that's to do with a certain secret weapon that you get after getting pretty much everything else in the game, so, I stay my tongue. But yeah, Mega Man X does actually have a voice in this game. Unfortunately, they wouldn't get a decent pick for X until Mega Man X8, unfortunately, because, oh, God, Mega Man X4 voice. Terrible. It makes me gag. Although, I mean, to kind of talk about that in terms of Mega Man X4 and its voice acting, yeah, technically speaking, I did technically share voice actors with, classic Mega Man for Mega Man 4, which does actually bring me into a bit of trivia, actually, where... Yeah, there was initial conceptions to have Mega Man X just be an upgraded version of Mega Man Classic, but, yeah, that was pretty much scrapped, so... You never do technically find out what happened to classic Mega Man, really. And, this is Spark Mandrill. His weakness is the shotgun ice, and, again, if you get it just right, you can actually technically get him in a pattern lock, like right here, where he can't technically do anything. I mean, he did technically punch me in the face, but, yeah, I mean, again, if you get the pattern just right, it's very much a case where he's like, oh, I didn't get to do anything! But don't worry, if you're looking for a more legitimate battle against Spark Mandrill, rest assured I will be showing off a more legitimate run, not because I wanted to, but instead because I really just sort of had no other choice. Oh, dearie me, but, yeah, that was Spark Mandrill. Easy come, easy go, and that's where you get the electric spark. That is Armored Armadillo's weakness, but to get back to my previous point in terms of Mega Man Classic cast, I mean, again, we all know that Dr. Light ended up dying of old age, but, yeah, you never technically do end up discovering what happened to the classic Mega Man cast. You don't know what happened to Rush, you don't know what happened to Roll, Mega Man Classic, or any of the other characters really, like, Dr. Cossack, his daughter Kalinka, or Dr. Wily or whatever. I mean, again, it's assumed that a lot of them just technically died of old age, although Dr. Wily is sort of up in the air, question mark, if you bring into question a certain part of Mega Man X2, but yeah, that's neither here nor there in this case. I mean, Keiji Inafune did technically confirm, and I think I brought this up in Mega Man Zero as well, that, again, Zero, being the last creation of Dr. Wily, as you do find out in Mega Man X4, again, he didn't end up killing, like, all of the old cast, so, again, classic Mega Man being destroyed and X being built in his place is kind of persona non grata, but I don't know, depending on whether or not you take some of the Game Boy games, which I believe implied that, Dr. Wily captured Mega Man Classic and transformed him into Quint, and was then destroyed by a weird time travel bizarro plot from those sorts of games, or, the more logical answer, which I suppose is the one that I technically go with in lieu of any other answers, is that, again, robot expiration dates. Technically covered in Mega Man 9, actually, but, yeah, robots do technically have an expiration date, which I suppose in this case, Reploids technically don't, as they're given the ability to think and feel on their own, so, yeah. I guess that pretty much explains it. Mega Man, Roll, and, Rush were pretty much just gradually shut down, and, yeah, that's pretty much the end of them. In any case, though, this is... I don't actually know what this robot is called. It looks like... a very bizarrely designed looking robot. It looks more like something out of like a fucking modern Sonic, really. It looks like something Dr. Eggman would have whipped up, but yeah, I really don't know what this thing's weakness is. I mean, it'll pretty much try and jump around, grab you with its little claw arm, and, you know, give you a pip every which way and sideways. It has a lot of health, but it also wasn't really, you know, all that in a packet of crisps. It's just sort of that'll pretty much try and stop you. It's basically more of a health sponge, but you do know that you're doing some significant damage to it if you see it smoking like that. But anyway, you might be wondering, why exactly am I here just peppering this thing with fire? I'm spraying fire at you, and it's doing bugger all to melt your circuitry. But yeah, part of the reason why you want to do this is because this is where another of the hidden Dr. Light capsules exists, and one that does actually come quite handy for those of you who are a little bit butterfingers with the controls, and well, aren't exactly doing gangbusters at your Maverick fights. So don't worry, this will be the upgrade for you, and possibly the stage to take on first, if you want to, you know, have an easier time with the rest of the game and, you know, weathering the storm, as it were. Ho 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 ho! This capsule contains a new type of body armor, Megaman X. Ho ho ho! It will reduce your damage by your systems by 50%. Ho ho ho! Merry Christmas, X! Only by 50%, but not by 100%, because have you seen titanium armor? I'm not made of money! Fuck off and come back another Christmas! Ho 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 ho! But yeah, now we also have the body armor. Again, it reduces damage, and yes, now it's time for me to attempt to get another upgrade, which is another heart capsule, that I technically needed another upgrade in order to get, but I don't know how the fuck that happened. How did I break the rocks when I need the head upgrade to do it? I don't know, but basically there's a heart capsule on the other side that you can't technically get until you, well, defeat another certain Maverick stage, so I try and get it by the power of belief! And I failed. So yes, unfortunately, the power of belief doesn't work. But yeah, that pretty much shows you where the heart capsule is. We will be getting it at a later date, so not to worry. We're still carrying on as we're meant to be. But in any case, so now Mega Man has his body armor, which, again, as you gradually gain more pieces, you eventually become a little bit more powerful, and eventually you start looking like fucking Super Sentai as shit, man. Just makes you want to sing Jetto, Jetto, Jetto Man, media nerd theme song of the old days. Jetto, Jetto, Jetto Man. Some Japanese words I can't remember. Jetto Man. But yeah, I mean, I guess to kind of discuss Sting Chameleon stage, you know, in brass tacks, really. Not really too interesting either, but I mean, again, it does have a few hidden secrets here and there, you know, such as the aforementioned heart tank and the, you know, the little robot, if you know how to utilize your dash jump, so... Yeah, it's not too bad, all things considered, and there is a small section where you do get to control, the right armor again, so... Holy mother of cows, it's a decent stage, all things considered, just, yeah. By the way, what kind of bizarro future is it that we need to have, like, robotic fucking trees? I don't know, maybe that was meant to be a sly commentary about the environment or some shit. Like how we're so wasteful that eventually all land will die, so that we need robotic trees that... I guess are pretty much there to sort of synthesize, like, oxygen and carbon dioxide or whatever. I don't really know. I mean, again, it's something that we might possibly have to look into, given the current, well, planet's trajectory at this stage, but, yeah, whatever. Global warming. I mean, again, you're even seeing in some of the soil right there that, you know, there's a lot of mechanical, you know, machinery built in, so, yeah. Truly, we are, I don't know. I had a joke. It's gone now. But yeah, I mean, the right armor does technically have its own separate health bar, so, again, be forewarned, because, I mean, again, while X might not take damage, the right armor will, and, well, let's just say, if you take too much damage, then it explodes, and then you're all just very sad. But in any case, so, I mean, it does give you a little bit more to do with the right armor by, like, you know, taking on a bunch of foes, and sadly, no, you can't take it with you into a boss fight. Mega Man X8 would have let me take it into the boss fight, and actually gave you a much easier time against, you know, Bamboo Pandemonium, but... Heck weast, really. Now, we continue onwards to attack Sting Chameleon! Yeah, alright, even though I don't technically have his weakness yet. Stealth camouflage. Mysterious. But yeah, Sting Chameleon without his weakness can be, well, I mean, it's not that big of a pain in the ass, it's really just more an idea of, I mean, again, you can still technically get him with, well, my plan was to get him with, you know, the shotgun ice, because again, that does technically have the range to, you know, the reflective capabilities to pretty much sort of hit him if it hits the wall, you know, such as its nature, but, yeah, I kind of ended up using a little bit too much of that ammunition on a, you know, big fat fucker as the robot beforehand, so, yeah, whoop-de-doodle. I mean, again, shotgun ice isn't technically his weakness anyway, but, you know what, you do get to see a bit more of his attack patterns for Sting Chameleon, because if you're using his weakness, which is, well, a weapon we'll be getting a little bit later, it does technically reset his pattern, so pretty much all you need to do is just, you know, use a weapon there, he jumps off to the side, use a weapon there, jumps off to the other side, use a weapon there, back and forth, yippee-yo, 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 kaye! And that's pretty much, Sting Chameleon. Doesn't really tend to do much else apart from that, so, yeah, I mean, if nothing else, my very unorthodox, possibly the poorest way to play Mega Man X in the history of any YouTube commentary, yeah. At the very least, you're seeing something new, or something that you probably haven't seen in years since your first playthrough of Mega Man X, so, yeah. I mean, say what you will about Solidus-Skully, but he does keep things interesting for commentary land. But yeah. Anything else to really say about Sting Chameleon? Not much, really. I mean, again, he does technically, you know, use his camouflage, and, you know, that basically renders him unhittable, so I guess he also has a level of intangibility. And that does actually play into one of the special abilities by the time, you know, you get another certain armor upgrade from Mega Man X. That, well, pretty much utilizes Sting Chameleon's ability to its full potential. And, is actually quite useful for getting a certain secret upgrade later on. But I stay my tongue. Kerblamo! And thus Sting Chameleon has been stung. And thus, X can now revel in his victory. And what is the spoils of war? Well, surprisingly enough, it's actually one of the more useful abilities in the game, if you know how to use it. And that is, what ability did we get? Chameleon Sting. Man, you sure were working hard for those weapon names, Capcom. But in any case, I'm Solidus-Skully, and catch you dudes and dudettes next time for more Maverick Hunter action. Bye-bye.